One of the things that's happening, and I've already said that we're not expecting real huge increases over the next decade in the number of jobs. The forecasted growth in the number of jobs is forecasted to be relatively modest. At best, relatively modest. But there's something else going on. The demand for occupations is really dependent on two things: the growth of the number of jobs in that occupation and the number of replacement positions. And guess what's about to explode? The number of replacement positions. The number of replacement positions. There are young people out there saying, oh God, the world is terrible. There are no jobs. And you're right. There are no jobs. Until old geezers like me get out of their way. And then all of a sudden there's going to be all sorts of jobs opening up. And that's going to occur in financial management positions as well. There's going to be a big growth in the number of jobs available as soon as we start seeing this rebound in the number of people retiring. And we're expecting it, basically anytime within the next year or two. It's hard to predict exactly when people are going to start, but there's a whole bunch of people stacked up at the door right now, waiting to retire. And when that hits, we're going to see a sudden breaking loose of the demand in certain fields for bright young people. But it's going to be, this is not an overall labor shortage. This is going to be highly field specific. So we need to begin to think about where the puck is going to be, not to where it has been. Not to where it has been. And there's a whole variety of fields, of occupations that require more specialized levels of training, such as credit management, that we're going to need to think about being maybe a little bit more thoughtful in how we move people into these fields. We need to begin to mentor young people and encourage young people in high school and tell them, right now you don't see any opportunities, but there will be great opportunities. But only if you have the skills and abilities to meet those opportunities. Untrained people will have relatively few opportunities. And fields like the financial occupations are going to begin to experience change, and a couple of the changes are, the field's going to grow older. Most of you are going to age about 1 year every 12 months. And there's going to be fewer young people coming in. So you need to think about who's going to replace you. Workforce planning, you mentioned community, and this is a huge part of the concept of community, is people working across generational lines, working across racial, ethnic lines, national origin lines, things like that. We need to be maybe a little more thoughtful about how we develop community, about relationships, and about how we mentor young people and move them into occupations going forward. Financial occupations are likely to change substantially in terms of age structure and racial and ethnic structure. McKinsey research identifies 3 kinds of jobs in the world. There are transformational jobs, and those are the jobs that you take something like iron ore and transform it into steel. Transformation. And that used 100 years ago, that was the big growth area. It's not really anymore. The second kind of job is transactional jobs. And over the last half century, this is where most of the growth in the United States has been. You know what a transactional job is. You go to Walmart or Target, and you get the stuff that you want off the shelf, and then you go up to the counter and you scan your credit card in, and the person behind the cash register scans the stuff across there. And there's a total, and you've got your credit card, and You know, that's how much I'm going to pay. That person is a transactional person. We have automated both of those kinds of jobs. And we will see even more automation going forward into the future. Has anybody here done a checkout yourself at grocery stores? Or, you know, okay. You know what I'm saying? Do you really need the transactional person there? Probably not. And within the next few years, we'll all be doing this, and those jobs will. And if that's what you know how to do, and you know somebody, that's what they know how to do. They're the greatest checker-outer person in the world. Oh, you know, they check out stuff really fast, and they're always friendly, and they never make a mistake. But they can't be as fast, and can't be as cheap, and can't be as mistake-free as a machine. And those jobs are becoming scripted. Those jobs are going away. Those jobs are being replaced. Transformational jobs are being replaced by robots. Transactional jobs are being replaced by robots. The growth in jobs in the United States and in Europe and in Japan and in China and other places of the world are going to be in a class of jobs called tacit jobs. That's a little harder to define. It's a little less obvious. These are the people that make decisions. These are judgmental positions where you have to have judgment. See, so far it's been difficult to have computers with judgment. They may be able to assist you, but at the end of the day, you still need somebody there to say, you know, I sort of like the smile of this person here. Maybe we should extend them credit. She's got a lovely smile. Somebody's got to have that judgment. Somebody's got to make that decision at the end of the day. And who are these folks? These are the tacit workers. And that's where most of the growth is going to occur, and that's where we're going to need most of the increases in efficiency and effectiveness over the next couple of decades. That's where we are going to need most of our productivity increases. But the private sector is also going to have to continue. Private sector always is very good at this, but particularly there's going to be pressure to continue this drive to greater and greater efficiency, and much of it's going to revolve around seizing the opportunity for disruptive innovations, looking for those, even identifying can sometimes be hard. What's disruptive? What changes the nature of everything we do? And the early adopters are the ones that are going to be able to take advantage of the real savings from this. Improving the quality of existing processes and products and services is going to be something that the tacit worker is going to have to be continuously working on improving what's going on, developing new products and new services, and adapting the business plan to the new normal. Adapting that business plan. And that's going to be difficult. And that's where the big challenge is. And that's where I believe the great opportunities are going to be, is people that can do those things. And so when you're out looking for folks to fill in a position, you're going to be looking for a really different skill set. People that have those tacit skills. And sometimes those don't show up as well on standardized tests or grades out of college or something like that. It's going to require judgment on your part because you also have to be tacit workers. It requires judgment. And judgment is going to become an increasingly valuable tool.